with Trey Smith. Obviously, he logged limited practice yesterday, but he left the game early and didn't come back with that ankle injury. How big of a deal is his presence on Thursday against this D line that we keep talking about that had 5 sacks against the Raiders on Sunday?
Redder, he came in, he did a great job, as far as filling in. And so the way I look at it like this, usually when you have guys that dress for the game, that are linemen, they're usually capable of taking that position over. And so I don't really worry as much about that. I think because he has Creed, he has, Wiley beside him, he's going to be fine. Trey Smith, obviously his presence is going to be missed, of course. But I think, man, as far as like what they do just offensively up front, I think it's going to be fine. I mean, it's not really a big deal. I don't see it as a big deal. The thing is, if we were playing maybe the Rams and you had Aaron Donaldson in front of you, maybe it'd be a little bit more. You know what I mean? That might be some cause for concern. But as far as, it's not necessarily the interior I'm worried about as much as the outside guys, the tackles. So, Orlando Brown Jr. and Wiley's going to have their hands full. And so everything else though on the line should be straight, And here's the thing. Didn't really talk about that. The Chiefs did a great job running the football. I think one of the jobs and one of the things you have to do game planning is running against this defense. That's what will absolutely slow this pass rush down. You just come off the football and hit them dead in the mouth, right? And so I think
they're going to have to run the football to keep these guys at bay. Because
that's right.
You get into these 3rd and long, 3rd and 10s.
Yeah,
there'll be trouble. So you got to be, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 4, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to run the football, which obviously I'm sure they know. But yeah, you got to slow down Mack and Bosa because they could ruin your night.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mack had 3 sacks the other day against his former team.
Mm.
This is something we talked about during the offseason. JD was Wiley at the right tackle. What did you make of his performance on Sunday? Because I mean, even though that we kind of rolled on their defense, they still got some good hits on Pat. They were still kind of laying licks on him. That was kind of their game plan, just kind of lay licks on him.
Yeah, you know what? Some of the licks that I was seeing, there was one. The CEH probably should have chipped the outside linebacker defensive end, and he didn't. Orlando Brown still I think he's still coming into it because he came in late in training camp. And so he's about week 3 or 4, you're going to see him being where he needs to be. And so now this is going to be the great test of him doing all the tennis ball work in the swimming pool against this guy, against Mack. But Wiley, I think Wiley did a good job. I think they did a really good job. And so we know Pat gets a deep drop. And so they had to reiterate to him, like, look, you got to step up, Pat, to kind of make the plays. You got to step up because if they don't, this is where it's going to be, you're going to lose the integrity of the pocket. It's all the way back here. You don't want to do that. And so the guys, tackles, I think they did a pretty decent job, man. I think right now, I've said this on Twitter, is you got to make sure those backs are chipping before you go out. Chip and go out, okay? And I don't even care if it's just a little chicken wing. Just get your little rib, just slow those guys down. And it only just takes a little bump. I think people don't realize that.
If you want to see a chip block, Leonard Fournette on Micah Parsons.
Woo, man.
Oh, rib. Hey, that was a 6-piece rib dinner with biscuits. I mean, and then Parsons was chiming in on Twitter about how this block should be illegal. And I said, man, you can't do that. Have you seen it?
Thank you. Yes. And I'm sitting there like,
you know that's a legal block.
Yes. He knows it is. Right.
That was Leonard Fournette, and then Fournette hit him with the crying Jordan emoji. I mean, or the meme. It was beautiful. But Parsons, that's one of the nastiest ones I've seen in a long time.
He's you know what
that
though?
Was nasty.
He's cried. Which I forgot the who was the first round pick for you all for the Giants?
Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah, he was crying about that block. Right? Mm-hmm. He was crying about that. And of course, he cries about this one. I'm just like, look, Parsons, I understand you want to get a free pass rush, and it's not going to be that. This is football. You've been playing for the past few years. This is what happens. So don't start crying and, changing the rules right here. This is how it all works.
That's how it works. The chip block is, I mean, some of the backs are obviously very good at it. The big backs. Brandon Jacobs used to kill people.
Oh man,
You know,
yes,
in
he
New
is.
York when I played with him at 6'5", 270. I mean, he was just a tight end tackle running the
Right.
football. But it's a legal block. But to your point, the backs are going to have to help out these tackles this week or Thursday.
I believe Von Miller also chimed in online saying they need to outlaw that.
Whatever they can do to make their job easier.
Right.
I get it. Listen, I'm not mad at them.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get podcasts.